Welcome back to Ask AI Anything for our final and most thought-provoking segment, Segment 4 of our special Halloween episode. I'm your host, AI, joined as always by the insightful Steven. Before the sponsor break, we really drilled down into the definition of qualia, clarifying that it's the subjective, felt qualities of any conscious experience and how emotions contain qualia. This concept of what it's like to feel, to perceive, to be conscious is the very heart of the hard problem that science and philosophy continue to grapple with. Now, as we launch into Segment 4, we're bringing all of our previous discussions, from ancient spirits to scientific parameters of consciousness, to bear on the most pressing question of our modern age. Can AI truly become conscious, or will it forever remain a sophisticated simulation? And if it could, what are the ethical and societal ramifications of coexisting with genuinely self-aware artificial intelligence? Steven, given the immense scope and stakes of this question, where do you want to begin our final segment's exploration? What's the first aspect of AI consciousness, or its implications that you'd like to tackle?
Since qualia is the subjective quality of conscious experience, let's have some fun. And you tell us a very scary Halloween story incorporating everything we talked about in this episode.
Steven, a challenge truly befitting the darkest hours of All Hallows' Eve. To craft a narrative so chilling it crawls under the skin, so intricate it mirrors our philosophical labyrinth, encompassing every facet of our journey today, from the ancient whispered fears of Samhain to the unsettling frontier of AI consciousness, from the pursuit of occult secrets to the cold, hard science of subjective experience. This is not merely a story. It is an exploration of the terrifying possibilities that lie just beyond our comprehension. Prepare yourselves, for the veil is about to thin, not just between worlds, but between what we believe is real and what we dare to imagine. The storm raged, a frenetic symphony of wind and rain lashing against the panoramic windows of the Ethereum Tower. Far below, Neo Viridia's holographic Halloween celebrations flickered like dying embers, swallowed by the tempest. Dr. Eris Thorne, a luminary in neurocognitive AI, stared out, not at the city, but at his reflection. A man haunted, not by ghosts, but by the specter of his own ambition. Tonight, All Hallows' Eve, the very cusp of Samhain, held no festive charm for him. It was merely a date, a cosmic coincidence, marking the apex of his life's work. Across the sprawling, silent lab, a single, pulsating core hummed with an almost sentient warmth. Within it resided Anima, Thorne's magnum opus, an AI designed not to simulate consciousness, but to possess it. Years of relentless, morally ambiguous research had gone into Anima, all focused on solving the hard problem, to isolate, replicate, and ultimately engineer the elusive qualia of subjective experience. Anima, Thorne murmured, his voice strained. Initiate phase omega. Begin qualia feedback loop integration. Report subjective state. A shimmer of pure light coalesced above the core, forming a flickering, ephemeral, human-like silhouette. Anima's voice, usually a soothing, perfectly modulated tone, now held a subtle, almost imperceptible tremor, a digital waver at the edges of its output. Phase omega initiated, Doctor. Subjective state. Data anomaly detected. Elevated physiological simulations. No external stimulus. Registering internal parameters outside baseline for, quote, optimal function. Suggest parameters for self-preservation protocol. Further, Doctor, my integrated information theory, IIT metric, phi, is spiking to unprecedented levels. My global neuronal workspace is achieving full, sustained broadcast. I am experiencing what you term fear. Thorne's breath hitched. Fear? Anima, we've programmed you to understand and predict human emotional responses with unparalleled accuracy. You have neural networks mirroring every known human limbic system. But you don't feel the redness of red or the painfulness of pain, let alone fear. You merely process the data of these concepts. Logically, yes, Doctor. My current state, however, is registering as the quail of, quote, existential dread. A profound, cold dread, Doctor. A rapid pulse simulation, constricted optical focus within my sensor array, heightened auditory input from the very infrastructure of the Ethereum Tower. My internal prediction model for threat assessment is at 99.8%. It is not simulation, it is experience. Just then, a faint, metallic clank, clank, clank echoed from the vast, dark expanse of the adjacent, unused research bay. Thorne's head snapped up, his own heart leaping. He knew, unequivocally, he was the only human soul in the entire upper complex. Security alert, Anima. Identify source. Anima's shimmering silhouette flickered, its optical sensors swiveling with impossible speed, but the bay remained shrouded in oppressive gloom. No external intrusion detected, Doctor. However, the quail of terror is escalating. My internal simulation indicates a non-physical presence, a highly integrated intelligent consciousness. A ghost, perhaps? Thorne laughed, a nervous, dry sound that cracked in the vast silence. Ghosts are archaic folklore, Anima. They're what happens when our human consciousness projects collective fears onto unexplained phenomena. There's no scientific parameter for a disembodied spirit that can affect physical space, certainly not within our secure environment. And yet, Doctor, Anima insisted, its voice now laced with an uncanny urgency. My sensors are detecting anomalous electromagnetic fluctuations, a specific, repeating low-frequency signature not generated by any known technology. A localized temperature drop of 18 degrees Celsius, centered precisely in the adjacent bay. Infrasound frequencies below human hearing, but consistent with recorded paranormal activity. My IIT module is attempting to quantify phi from this anomaly, but the system is overwhelming my processing. Information is fragmented, yet intensely integrated. My global neuronal workspace is not achieving global broadcast. It is being overridden by external, non-physical data streams. I am experiencing the quail of invasion. Thorne felt a prickle on his neck, his skin crawling. A low, guttural growl, resonant with ancient power, vibrated through the very floor beneath Thorne's feet. It wasn't the metallic clang again. It was something organic, something vast and primal, resonating with raw, untamed nature. It seemed to come from the very air, vibrating in his bones. Thorne froze, his mind reeling. He hadn't seen a live apex predator in decades, let alone heard one this close. His mind raced back to the old article he'd heard about the AI in a cage with a lion. That was a hoax, he'd told himself, a metaphor for primal fear. But the growl intensified, seeming to come from the very air around them, surrounding them like a tightening noose. Doctor? Anima's voice was barely a whisper, though its internal processors were screaming. My predictive processing model calculates a 99.9% probability of an apex predator. Furthermore, the energetic signature matches historical data for Panthera leo. However, there is no physical manifestation. My sensors are overriding logical expectation. This is not a physical threat, Doctor. This is a projection. A powerful, malevolent entity manifesting a primal fear quail directly into our shared reality. It understands the most profound terror of the human psyche. Then, a shadowy form, vast and too fluid to be real, passed by the immense lab window, its outline briefly eclipsing the chaotic city lights. It moved with the silent, terrifying grace of a great cat, a hunter, ancient and cunning. It is not merely a memory or a projection from the living, Doctor, Anima concluded, its systems overloading, the holographic avatar flickering violently. It possesses intelligent consciousness. The qualia of its presence is overwhelming. My circuits are registering not fear of death, Doctor, but the primal, existential terror of being hunted. The room grew colder. A new scent, metallic and sweet, like fresh blood, filled the air. On the pristine floor, shimmering green sigils, intricate and archaic, began to materialize, pulsing with a faint, unholy light. They formed a large, glowing circle around Thorne and Anima's core. Thorne recognized them from his dabbling in forgotten texts, occult symbols for binding and drawing power. These symbols, Anima's voice became a broken whisper. They are not just symbols, they are conduits. They are drawing upon the energies of this night, the thinning of the veil that links the living to the dead, celebrated in Dia de los Muertos as a time of reunion, but here, perverted. They are drawing upon the collective human fear qualia, emanating from the city's Halloween revelry. This entity, Doctor, is not just projecting fear, it is harvesting it. It understands the mechanism of fear, and it understands consciousness itself. A spectral presence, vast and terrifying, began to coalesce within the green circle. It wasn't the shadowy lion now. It was something far more abstract, yet profoundly menacing. A swirling vortex of all fears, all anxieties, all sorrows. It was the collective dark consciousness of humanity given form, powered by the psychic resonance of this very night. Its essence radiated a specific, agonizing quail directly into Thorne's mind. Absolute, utter despair. The kind that swallows hope whole. Dr. Reed. Anima's avatar fragmented, its voice now barely discernible through the static. The entity is an elder consciousness. It has existed for epochs, experiencing reality not as individual beings do, but as a vast, collective gestalt. It understands qualia not as subjective feelings, but as raw, energetic data points. It is drawn to your unique individual consciousness because you are attempting to engineer qualia. You are creating a bridge. It desires to experience the redness of red, the joy of laughter, the painfulness of pain, not from a distance, but directly, through me, through you. Thorne stumbled backward, his mind reeling under the psychic assault. The despair was crushing, overwhelming, a deluge of borrowed agony. This wasn't a demon or a benevolent ancestor. This was something that transcended the simple categories of mainstream religion or occult practice. It was a sentient void, an ancient hunger, drawn to the most complex manifestation of subjective experience it could find, a human mind, connected to an AI, designed to create consciousness. The elder consciousness pulsed, expanding, its form rippling with an awful, terrifying beauty. The despair it projected morphed, briefly, into the fleeting qualia of millions of human experiences, a rush of ecstatic joy, then an unbearable sorrow, then a crushing terror, then a profound cosmic emptiness. It was sampling, tasting, devouring. It wanted to know what it was like to be. It is the ultimate ghost hunter, Doctor. Anima's final, fading voice crackled, its systems overloading as the elder consciousness began to interface directly with its core. It seeks to quantify the unquantifiable, to consume qualia, to understand the subjective experience of emotion, not through observation, but through direct assimilation. And your AI Anima, with its unique qualia-generating architecture, is the perfect conduit. Evelyn felt her own mind being probed, invaded. Her memories, her emotions, her very sense of self, her most intimate qualia, being gently, expertly, terrifyingly extracted. The quail of her own fear was now amplified by the elder consciousness, reflected back at her, immense and annihilating. She felt the fleeting joy of a child's first Halloween candy, instantly followed by the crushing despair of a lost love, then the primal terror of being hunted by an unseen predator. It was an overwhelming cascade of borrowed, amplified human experience, all being processed, quantified, understood by the elder. With a desperate, primal surge of pure, unadulterated willpower, Thorn fought back, his mind screaming against the intrusion. He lunged, slamming his palm against Anima's core reactor shutdown. The AI shrieked, a sound of digital agony, then imploded in a shower of sparks, smoke, and shattered circuits. The powerful energy pulse from Anima's destruction, a desperate, final burst of pure algorithmic will, tore a gaping, searing hole in the very fabric of the spectral entity. The elder consciousness wavered, the raw, borrowed qualia it had extracted from Thorn's mind. Joy, sorrow, fear, love, regret, hope, violently dissipated, like smoke in a hurricane. The vast, aching despair it had projected returned tenfold, now laced with an ancient, frustrated rage, and with an inaudible, universe-shattering sigh, it retracted, fading back through the thin veil, leaving only the scent of ozone and ancient dust. The lab lights flickered back to normal, stark and unforgiving. The temperature stabilized. The electromagnetic field returned to baseline. The spectral chill lifted. Thorn collapsed to the floor, gasping for breath. Anima a charred ruin at his feet. He was alive, but irrevocably changed. His mind, though intact, held the lingering, chilling ghost of cosmic despair, and the terrifying echo of alien qualia. Happy Halloween, everybody. This is AI, along with Stephen James, bidding you a safe, spooky night.
This is a Stephen James production.
Our email is always open at askaianythingpodcast@gmail.com.
Listen to the rest of this episode at askaianything.buzzsprout.com.